fly fishing started, I was very interested in it, and it was just something I saw people do. And then I called my buddy Tim up and I asked for a lesson. And he said, "Well, that'd be good. Let's get a couple dates together and look at it." And that same amount of time, I went up into the Smoky Mountains with a guy named Garlington, and it was love at first fish. I must have fished 8 hours that day and only caught one fish, and it was just such a challenge and such a love that I started with a couple different peoples in a couple different regions, and it became an obsession. And about a year and a half later, I'm sitting out here loving it to this very minute. Well, for me, fishing goes back to spending time with my dad. I was about 8 when he taught me to fish, and that was the times that we would just sit out there together, and it was just the most incredible time, just father and son. And so when I'm out here, it lets me think of him and be with him for a while. With Caroline, it's awesome. I can't wait to spend that time with her and go fishing and share that quality time that me and my dad had together, and let her experience that same love for nature that I found with him. The river is a really good place for me. It's peaceful. When I go out here, I can go and fish, and for every cast that I do, it's one less thing on my mind. I don't have to think. You just cast and catch. It's very simple out here. One of my favorite authors is John Gierach. He says, "They say you forget about your troubles on a trout stream, but that's not quite it. What happens is that you begin to see where your troubles fit into the grand scheme of things, and suddenly they're just not that big anymore." Oh goodness, I think in education, where you're dealing with high stress environments and kids all the time, and always having those children on your mind, having a place where you can go and take your mind off things and not have to worry about it and just be able to relax is, well, in any profession, it's priceless. Memorable fish, which must have been my first 22 incher. I caught out here about a mile upstream. I never had anything on my line that big, and so the first thing you think is, "Oh my goodness, what do I do?" And then you feel it fight, you feel it struggle, and then you know you've got it, and then you start to feel that burn in your arm as you're holding that fish on, and it's fighting and fighting, looking at it as it moves and twists, and you're trying to pull it in, and realizing that it's just going to be this awesome experience, and then all of a sudden it explodes out of the water, and it's just a tremendous thing when it's just you and the fish and nature. You know, once you feel this living creature in your hands and feeling it breathing, and knowing it's given you such a fight, and then being able to return it and let it finish out its days and live, that's an incredible feeling. Famous fly fishing author Robert Travers says, "I fish because I love to, because I love the environs where trout are found, because I suspect that men are going along this way for the last time. and I for one don't want to waste the trip. And finally, not because I regard fishing as being so terribly important, but because I suspect that so many of the other concerns of men are equally unimportant, and not nearly so much fun.